Hi! Today I'm going to be doing a brief overview, book review of the book called 50 Things You Can Do with Google Classroom by Alice Keeler and Libby Miller. I'm just going to be talking a little bit about the book. It's a great resource for all educators. It basically goes through 50 different unique ways that you can utilize Google Classroom, why it's important, how it leads to student-centered classrooms, and motivating students to learn more. I'm just going to go briefly, quickly, a general overview of the book and some of those concepts that the book covers. The first concept covered in the book is just starting with Google Classroom. Students that start class using Google Classroom, they can establish a routine. They know if the teacher is always starting with Google Classroom that they will come into the class, they will immediately go to Google Classroom, they can find their schedules on Google Classroom. They know to find homework from the day before on Google Classroom, and it'll be at the top of the schedule. Using Google Classroom in that way is super helpful for students, especially if they miss a day. It can save the teacher a lot of time from having to find those old assignments and look them up. And so that's actually another point that we'll get to a little bit later too. Another way is using Google Classrooms with a website or LMS. Google Classrooms don't always let you incorporate rich text. They don't allow you to make assignments available to parents, and you can't embed videos in Google Classroom. So basically, if you pair Google Classroom with a type of system that can do those things, then you can really utilize Google Classroom even better. And it also helps you be able to make learning more available to student parents and help them get involved and connected. And it also it allows students to be able to use other resources beyond Google Classroom, and figure out how to use those and become more tech savvy and gain tech literacy. So Google Classroom also, a great way to utilize Google Classroom is to use numbers whenever you create an assignment. It helps you organize. You can organize the numbers in the Google Drive by number, by date, by semester, by class. You don't have to do those things, but it really helps with organization, and it really helps your students also be able to find what they're looking for, the dates they were turned in. It keeps everything in order, which sometimes students aren't always organized, so it just goes the extra way and makes it organized for the students. It also provides many avenues for students to collaborate. Google Slides and Google Sheets, you can use those as a way for all students to work on one piece at the same time, and you can monitor that and view them and walk through that process on an overhead projector or something with the students. It also just helps students be able to work together and gain those skills of working together. Google Classrooms also allows you to provide directions, so you don't have to spend a lot of time at the beginning of class going through directions, repeating yourself multiple times. You can obviously say the directions aloud once or twice, and then direct students to find those directions and have the written direction forms on Google Classrooms. So it just makes assignments a little bit easier oftentimes for students to understand, especially if they aren't verbal learners. If they're visual learners, it really assists with that and just helps students to know, if they didn't hear the teacher the first time, they can always use Google Classrooms as a resource. Also Google Classrooms helps differentiate tasks. So that's a huge thing in education today, is being able to differentiate tasks and learning, and give student choice. So a lot of Google Classrooms enables students to have student choice. Sometimes that means students help create assignments with the teacher. They can become co-teachers in the classroom for a particular unit or particular assignment. It also just means that you can list a variety of forms to assess a certain assignment. So maybe one is a game, one is a paper or like a short answer essay, and another one is a project, a short project that they create, and then they can film or video that and upload it onto Google Classroom. Whatever it is, you can have 4 different ways to grade one assignment, and they can all be in the same area. So students can go through the assignment on Google Classroom and then find each of those ways to fulfill the requirements still necessary to show that they are understanding and learning, but also they have the choice and they can choose. If they're more of a creative person, they can choose the project aspect of the assignment. So that's a really cool thing that Google Classroom lets you do. Another thing is you can update your posts from year to year and even classroom to classroom. So if in one class you realize one of your questions that you posted in the live stream on Google Classroom, it wasn't specific enough for the students, or the students didn't really understand the question, you can just type in even during that class period and it'll be changed for the other class periods. So that's super, super, super helpful for teachers because you don't have to go back through and resave everything and re-download everything. It's just in the moment, you change it and all of it is changed. And it's super easy and nice. Another thing is that Google Classrooms has, or like suggests that you do, is replacing basic worksheets, although it does have those worksheets on Google Classroom, or you can have those worksheets on Google Classroom. It also suggests that you replace them with play sheets, so more game-based or activity-based ways of assessing students. In Google Classroom, it's super easy to include those and include links to other websites, which is a really great feature of Google Classroom. Students can go right to that link and click it and go to another website where they can find the game or activity or find more information basically on anything that you'll be talking about. Another really, really cool aspect with Google Classroom is that teachers can give feedback through self-grading, like Google Worksheets, for instance. And something that I think is awesome about Google Classroom is a student doesn't even have to submit the work, and the teacher can see what the student is doing and the process of it and where the students are and give feedback in the middle of an assignment. So a student might be halfway through an essay and you're noticing maybe they have a lot of comma errors, maybe they're just totally not getting the assignment. And you can stop the student in the middle of that and comment and watch them like type it, and you can comment right in there and tell the students, let them know that, hey, maybe you can redirect this or go somewhere different with this, and just give them that feedback directly in the moment, which is super, super helpful for students. And then they can feel like they are actually accomplishing what is supposed to be accomplished, and they don't really have to worry about not meeting the teacher's expectations. So that is a super cool aspect. Another cool aspect with grading is that teachers can give feedback individually before actually assigning the grade. So when a student does submit something, you don't have to give a grade before you give the feedback. So you can give feedback to the student either while they're still working on it, or if they have already submitted it, you can give them feedback. And then those students, after they receive the feedback, if you can give them the opportunity to redo the assignment, or to maybe go through and do some self-assessment and self-reflection about the assignment and give them a few like pointers or tips on it, and then actually assign them a grade. And they can actually unsubmit it and then resubmit it with the new corrections. And you can see where they were before and then see what corrections they've made and then assess them with a grade, a letter grade, which is a really, really cool way of doing it because it really helps the students be able to self-reflect more, and it really does promote student choice and just students being in control of their learning and really being able to understand the concepts and collaborate with a teacher as well. Another thing is that Google Google Classroom allows for the teacher to attach rubrics to assignments. So again, students can grade themselves. There is a way that students can open up Google Classroom and then open up like their like Word or whatever they use to type like a paper